Hey, what's up you guys? This is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel. If you are interested in career, business, and life, then you are in the right place. Make sure to subscribe. And what are we going to talk about in today's video? So this video is going to be answering another question that one of my viewers asked me in another video. Jake wanted me to make a video all about how social workers can stay motivated when often they're working in an environment where they have to deal with a lot of bureaucracy and systemic challenges, because often we're working on behalf of vulnerable populations that don't really get as much support as they should, because we're fighting against so many oppressive systems and systems that oftentimes were designed to keep the people that we're trying to help move forward back. So he really wanted to know if I had any tips on how social workers can continue to be motivated and come strong to their work despite all of these challenges and obstacles that are in place. And I thought this was such a great question because this is definitely a challenge that I noticed very early on in my social work career. It's something that made me very frustrated and demotivated in the process of change, because I saw myself as one social worker that was fighting against so many systemic barriers that have been strengthened and put in place over the span of decades and decades, many years. And I think that's one of the challenges that makes social work so unique as a field. It's something that we should know we're gonna have to deal with before we get into the field, so we won't be surprised and we can already have some coping strategies in place that we can use to get through all of this nonsense. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys 5 tips on how I stay motivated in this type of environment. And I want to give the opportunity for other social workers to leave comments below on how they stay motivated. And hopefully this can just get a conversation started and help people who are new in the field. Even people who've been in the field for a long time and beginning to feel completely burned out. Okay, so let's get right into this video. So one thing that I do to stay motivated in such a bureaucratic and systemically oppressive environment is by doing macro social work, to be honest. This is a story that I've shared with people in the past, but this situation is exactly why I decided to do macro instead of direct practice. I used to do direct practice at the very beginning of my career. I was working in case management with a fantastic group of hardworking young people, but unfortunately the world looked at these young people, most of them who were African American and Hispanic. A lot of these young people have been completely given up on, stereotyped, not understanding that although some of them may have had a rocky start or maybe they had something on their record, but at this stage in their lives when I was working with them, they were ready to make a positive change and they wanted to actually contribute to society in a meaningful way. But on their path to doing so, it seemed like every other day there was some kind of obstacle that was trying to prevent them from moving forward. It was always one thing or another. One of the examples could be how one of the young ladies had a hard time finding affordable childcare so that she can actually continue her schooling. Another situation is how it took so much time and energy to get small misdemeanors expunged off some of their records so they can actually qualify for some of the jobs they were hoping to get. It just seemed like it was always something that myself or the client I was working with really didn't have any control over. So after working in that environment for a while, I started to become kind of frustrated and I wanted to have more of an impact. I wanted to feel like I had a little bit more power to make change. So I started working in macro social work so I could help a larger group of individuals and connect a larger group of people with resources that they needed to move forward. I thought that would make me feel like I was making a bigger difference than putting so much time and energy and pressure and struggle just helping a small group of people. I figured if I was going to be doing that much work and having that many barriers, I might as well use my time to try to help as many people as possible. So doing macro social work for me was really the answer to that frustration. So now that I work in the foundation space, I feel less of a burden and I feel that my time time is making a bigger difference. So if you are someone who's doing direct practice and you've been in this area for many, many years and you're just frustrated, I would say explore macro social work. It's an area where you're not as directly involved, you're a little bit more removed, and you're also able to help more people. Okay, and my second tip for dealing with this kind of thing would be to make sure that you schedule to take time away and you don't feel guilty about it. I think specifically those who work in the social impact space, we feel bad when we take vacation or take a half day, take a mental health day, because we feel that, we're leaving behind our clients or disappointing our colleagues. But we need to do that so that we can show up for other people at our strongest level. If we don't take time to take a break and remember that there's more out there outside of the struggles that we're seeing or the challenges that our clients are going through in society, we won't be able to show up and bring our whole selves to the table. So I am a big advocate for taking time off. I aim to take at least 2 big vacations a year. When I say big, I mean like a week at a time. And I think that's another reason I really enjoy traveling so much, because for me, when I travel and leave the state or even the country that I live in, it's a way for me to really step away from day-to-day life and fully engage my brain in something else that's totally, different from what I'm normally involved in. Every time I come back from a vacation, I always have new and fresh ideas, and I have a new level of inspiration and encouragement. I can always feel when I need time away. You would be amazed at how powerful a simple vacation may be, even if it's just another city in your state or somewhere around the country that you live in. Take a vacation sometimes. A staycation could be very powerful as well. Some exploration to places that can make you feel as if you're not at home, because once again, I think it's something very powerful about stepping outside of the ordinary. And I know with COVID, you may have to be a little bit more creative now. Definitely keep the safety of yourself and others in consideration. But yeah, take time away and don't feel bad about it, because we all need that time away. And even looking forward to time away gives you something to grasp onto and to have hope for when you're dealing with a very trying situation with your clients. At least you can say to yourself, all right, I'm gonna put my all into this for the next 2 weeks, but after that, I'm gonna have a chance to step away and refuel. So that can sometimes give you all the energy and motivation that you need to figure the sticky situation out. So tip number 3 about how to stay motivated as a social worker is to understand that systemic changes and growth in society takes time. I know right now we're living in a generation where everything happens in an instant, but that's not really how societal changes work. Every generation has to put forth an effort to change society, and they may not actually see the benefits of their work, but the next generation will see the benefits. It really is a building block, you guys. Like, the work that we're doing today is not just for us. When people are out there advocating, marching for their rights, developing programs in social work, trying to build new policies, it's not really for the benefit of us alone. It's mostly going to benefit the people that's coming after us. And I know that's a little bit sad and discouraging to think about, because, it really does feel good for you to actually see all the work that you're putting forth and to witness what that work has actually contributed to. There's a level of satisfaction that you get when that happens, right? Because you can look at it and say, oh man, like I have helped to make this change, or, my community organization has led to this change happening. But it's not always that easy to, pinpoint that as a social worker or to get a congratulations for a job well done, because it's the efforts of many, many people over a long span of time that really contributes to societal changes in a way that can be motivating to you, because you can know that although what you're doing today is not leading to exactly where you want to be, what you're doing is a piece in the larger puzzle of change. So let's say all of us in the social work space are trying to create a picture of what the future of our society looks like. The work that you're doing is just one piece to that future picture. So can that picture still be identified and developed without you? Yes, but it won't be fully developed without that individual piece that you're able to contribute. So even on those days when you don't feel like you're actually making a difference, or you feel that the work you're doing is in vain, and maybe you're even thinking about switching your career entirely, just remember that you are making a difference. But it may be hard to see because it takes many people who are just like you making a difference in their own individual communities to actually lead to the greater picture of change. And also think about the little differences that you're making within your small microcosm as well, the small group of people that you're seeing on a regular basis. So be patient and understand that none of us can really rush the process. So my fourth tip to feeling more motivated as a social worker is something I've talked about in other videos, so it's not going to be new to anyone, but the importance of finding your niche as a social worker. Finding the area of social work that you want to really contribute change to, narrowing in on that and focusing all of your energy on that one area. Yes, as a social worker, there is a lot of systemic challenges in place for the communities that we're working with. There's challenges with mental health access, with healthcare, with equal education, with racism, etc. I could really go on and on. But in order for you to really feel that you're making a big change, you have to just hone in on one of those areas and dedicate your time to trying to make that better. My niche is youth and education. I want to provide youth with more access to education opportunities as well as mentorship. That's an area that I really care about. I really have honed in on that area from several different titles and roles that I have. Yes, there are a lot of other challenges and societal problems out there, but I just don't have the time in a day to focus on all of that. I am vested in those problems as well. I watch the news to learn more about how those problems are being progressed. I listen to a lot of experts who focus on those areas, and I feel a lot of relief knowing that there are other people who put their time and attention toward those other areas. I support those other people, but I can't do what those other people are doing. I think one thing that can be very frustrating as a social worker is thinking that you have to help alleviate all of these societal problems that are happening, but in all actuality, we just can't do it. We're still humans and we can't focus on everything. So finding my niche has really helped me to feel more motivated and less stressed out when I do think about all of the oppression that our current society has. And also, I think voting is another way that you can support the betterment of other societal issues that are happening so that you won't feel the need to dedicate your life's work to all of those other issues. So do what you can to support other issues, but you yourself should focus on finding one area that you can really put the most of your attention into and invoke the most change around. All right, so my fifth tip to you, and also one of the most important tips I think when it comes to staying motivated in social work, is doing everything I can to help my clients to feel empowered by providing them with access to tools and resources to further empower themselves. As social workers, I feel that sometimes we think that it's our responsibility to change our client's current situation. And that's not true. In actuality, it's a partnership, and we're providing them with tools so that they can feel empowered to move in whatever direction they want to go in. I think I used to feel, at the beginning of my career, very discouraged and weighed down by all of the problems that exist in society because I was trying to take them on by myself instead of partnering with my clients to move through these challenges. At the end of the day, your client is the expert of their lives, and oftentimes they understand how to get through certain obstacles and barriers better than you do, especially if they've been living in their community longer than you have. So sometimes you just need to have a conversation with your client and say, hey, have you ever been in this situation before? If so, how did you overcome the situation in the past? You guys could work together to identify some things that maybe they've done in the past that they can pull forth and do right now. They may not be able to do exactly what worked in the past, but thinking about that can give you clues on how to move forward. And also, when you work to empower your client, you're letting them know that you believe in them and that you trust them. So I think reminding your client that you trust them, that you believe in them, and there's also an accountability factor there. So I think with this tip, I just want to let you know how important it is to listen to your client, to show your client that you understand that they know best about their lives. They know what they want. And if you're working in more macro level social work or community-based social work, they know what their community needs. So actually talk to them and try to get to the root of what that is. And you'd be amazed around how much stress that takes off of yourself, because you don't have to be the one that's trying to do this work on your own. You're doing this work in collaboration with the community members who are actually living in this community and oftentimes have been living in this community all of their lives. The projects that I've enjoyed the most in my career as a social worker has been the ones that I've done in partnership with community members. I've learned so much on these projects. These projects have helped me to become a better professional. Sometimes we think just because we're social workers and we have all of these advanced degrees that we know best, but there's so much to actually learn from people who have that actual feet on the ground experience in a particular community. And maybe those individuals have, their own set of degrees and professional experience as well. But I'm telling you, it's that experience that they've gathered on the ground in that community that will teach you the most. So remember, when you're doing social work, you should not be doing it in a vacuum and you shouldn't feel alone. You should be partnering with the people that you're actually trying to help. And you guys should be learning from one another. I think that's when the most change actually happens. All right, you guys, hopefully this video has helped anyone out there who've been feeling some struggles or challenges working within the field of social work lately, especially right now with, so many societal issues kind of rearing its head. This is definitely a challenge that social workers go through, but there are things that you can keep in mind to keep you encouraged as you work in a field that puts you in situations where you're reminded of the not so good aspects of society on a day-to-day basis. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.